That following story is an example of his mastery of prajna. For after his marriage, he spent much of his time in his puja room. Once, when he had a visitor, Sela, his wife, informed him, "Nagapa Chatayer has come." Shastri Mama replied without even getting up, "He has lost his diamond ring and suspects that his servant has stolen it. Tell him he should not suspect anyone." While Chatayer was washing his clothes in his courtyard, his diamond ring slipped from his finger and now lies underneath the banana tree near the well. The prediction proved to be absolutely accurate. This was the precision with which he worked. Not surprisingly, even the police came to him for assistance in tracking down criminals. After some time, a son was born to them. He drew his son's horoscope and, to his terrible shock, realized that his son was destined to die in his teenage years. The horoscope also said that he would not have another son. He did not tell his wife this, but overcome with grief, he sought refuge in Bhagavan at Ramanasramam. While Bhagavan was going up the hill, Shastri Mama followed him and told him about his son's horoscope and its dire prediction. After walking some distance, Bhagavan turned to him and said, "You have been in Kerala, in the far south. In Kochi, you must have noticed plenty of jackfruits." A jackfruit is a tropical fruit bigger than a watermelon, and its uniqueness lies in the fact that the fruit comes out of the trunk of the tree and not from the branches. At the time of bearing fruit, many shoots spring out, but only a few survive while the rest wither and drop away. The jackfruit tree finally bears only a few fruits. Bhagavan continued, "To give room for the bigger and healthier fruits, the other shoots, almost 60 of them around one big fruit, drop off." Shastri Mama immediately understood that Bhagavan was not going to rescue his son. He prostrated before Bhagavan and went back to his village. Before leaving, he held Bhagavan's feet, wept, and said, "What is the refuge for me? Give me courage." Bhagavan then quoted the verse from the Hridaya Kuhara Manji, which he had composed at Virupaksha cave. "In the center of the heart cave, there shines alone the one Brahman, pure awareness, absolute consciousness, as the I, the self. Reach the heart by diving deep in quest of the self, or by controlling the mind with the breath, and stay established in the self." Hearing this, Shastri Mama was established in the complete trust and faith that he had two courses which were in fact complementary. One, to do self-inquiry, and to completely surrender. To do self-inquiry, one must completely surrender, and to surrender, one must do self-inquiry. On his return, he told Sela, his wife, and his son, "I have decided to go and live with my master, but I will not leave you in the lurch. I will earn enough for both of you to live comfortably. I will provide for you and then go. My decision is final." His wife, though a simple, illiterate villager, gave a prudent reply. If you are going to a place, giving up all of this, then that world must be better than this. Why don't you take me along with you? Why do you want to leave me in a lesser place? Shastri Mama asked in surprise, but what about our son? I thought you will want to stay here and bring him up. To this, his wife replied, I will leave him with my younger brother and come with you. In Hindu families, relatives gladly step in to help, and such responsibilities are not considered burdens. Shastri Mama warned her, I am going there as a beggar. I will not pursue my profession in astrology and won't earn money. I am going to live with my master, completely without desire, absolutely detached and aspiring for wisdom. And I will do whatever my master says and don't even know how I'm going to get food or shelter. But Sela was resolute. She said, whether you experience pain or pleasure, success or failure, I'd like to share it with you. According to Hindu laws, a wife has the right to demand this share from her husband. As she was prepared to undergo any austerity with him, Shastri Mama could refuse her no more. And so they reached Ramana Ashramam. And since in those days women could not stay at the ashram, Chinnaswami, Bhagavan's younger brother and the ashram manager, told Shastri Mama, do puja in the shrine of the mother and let your wife stay in town with my son Venkatesa's family. Let her serve and be with Bhagavan's sister and Venkatesa's wife, while you serve here. Shastri Mama communicated this to Bhagavan. Bhagavan kept quiet for some time and then turned to him saying, attend to the purpose for which you come. Shastri Mama understood what Bhagavan meant. His function was not to do puja and work for food. The reason for which he came was to give up everything, be without desire, and discover wisdom. After all, desirelessness and wisdom are the same. He took his wife with him to Adi Anamalai, a remote village halfway around the hill, and lived in a shelter there. Every morning, the couple would walk around the hill to spend the day with Bhagavan, with no thought of food from the ashram. In the evening, they would complete their circumambulation of the hill, pradakshina, and return to the shelter. People in the village began to notice this simple couple and took pity on them. They had no vessels, no rice or lentils to cook. So the kind villagers started bringing bananas and peanuts, as well as some roots, and begged them to eat. The villagers supported the pious and simple couple like this for many years. Being in Bhagavan's presence every moment, austerity became deeply rooted in Shastri Mama and Sela. Both lived on peanuts and bananas, or whatever the compassionate villagers placed before them. Though the ashram served delicious food, they were not tempted. They forgot what it was like to eat rice or wheat and other things in the staple Indian diet. And yet, they were completely happy. Whenever Bhagavan wanted some explanations from the Vedas, Ganapati Muni's and Jagadisa Shastri's absence, he would take Shastri Mama's help. Shastri Mama, who was also a gifted poet, would give him the answers in Sanskrit verses. And one day, Bhagavan asked him, "You give such beautiful answers. Does Sela recognize the content of these verses?" "Bhagavan, she is a villager and almost illiterate. She does not know the content because I don't share this with her." But Bhagavan persisted. "No, you should raise her to your level. Does she not know Tamil?" "Yes, Bhagavan, she knows." "Then translate whatever you write for me in Sanskrit into simple Tamil, which she can understand, and teach her." In my childhood, I knew that Shastri Mama had written many songs based on Bhagavan's teachings, because my mother would sing them to me. The verses were simple but beautiful. One song that I particularly liked went like this: "Kokandu Vangaduvur Guru Para Kankandu Vangaduvu Kokandu Vangaduvu Guru Para Kokandu Vangaduvu." Kokandu means sugar candy. When translated, the verse means, "Get freely this sugar candy which comes from the holy feet of the Master." This sugar candy is the nectar of wisdom, and it pours forth from the holy feet of the Master. By falling at the feet of the Master, get this nectar which is always available to you. As children, we were very fond of this song because we loved sugar candy. Shastri Mama's son, Malu, came to Tiruvannamalai once in a few years to be with his parents. By this time, Shastri Mama was teaching Sela how to be detached, but had not told her that their son was going to pass away in his teens. This boy was a little older than Sundaram and me. Sundaram was Venkateson's brother. During one of his visits, we even had a group photograph taken with Shastri Mama, Sela, my parents, Sundaram, my elder brother, Mani, my younger brother, Bhagavan's sister, Balu, and me. This photograph is in the ashram archives. During Bhagavan's illness, Shastri Mama performed a special ritual called the Mrityunjaya Jaya Japa, along with some other pundits. Mrityu means death and Jaya means victory. Therefore, this translates as victory over death. According to this Hindu ritual, if the mantra is chanted several thousand times, a person whose horoscope predicts an early death can be saved from dying prematurely. Bhagavan seldom agreed or disagreed with the wishes of his devotees. He just cooperated with them. The chanting was to be done in the school for the Vedas, in front of a pot of water. Chanting is said to change and charge the water with the powerful vibrations of the japa, which is then given to the afflicted person to drink. One day, the recorder of talks with the Maharshi wondered why an illumined master like Bhagavan was drinking this water. Bhagavan looked at him, looked at the sun, then pointed to the right side of his own chest and quoted a line from the Taittiriya Upanishad that translates as, "The energy which is in me and the energy which is in the sun is the same one." With this, Shastri Mama understood that Bhagavan was not taken in by these mantras, but only cooperated with his disciples for their peace of mind, so they could feel they were doing some service for their master's well-being. By the time he had been with Bhagavan till his last days, Shastri Mama had had glimpses of the self. He was already a master of austerity and absolute desirelessness, but needed to be blessed with complete wisdom. This was accomplished when Bhagavan blessed him with a divine look. I had the good fortune of moving closely with them, particularly with Sela Mama. She was always very kind to me. When all my relatives were worried that I was not married, though my parents never forced me or even insisted that I should get married, Sela Mama sat me down one day and said, "What are you going to gain by getting married? Even this one body is a burden. What is the use of getting another body? And it is an absolute fallacy that this other body can give you pleasure. The pleasure, the happiness comes from within, from the surrender of the body. In sleep, you are very happy because then there is no awareness of the body. Why do you want to have one more body to take care of, thinking that it is going to give you happiness?" Her wise counsel helped me steady myself. This is the advantage of satsang.